I accidentally did put us on live stream. We are starting now. Okay.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Anything specific or Rajeshwari?
Oh, hello everybody. I'm welcoming you to our live talk today, Healing Herbs and Spices. I'm very glad to have Dr. Priya Subramanian, Dr. Rajeshwari Rapata here on my live stream. Welcome everybody. Please post your questions into our chat. And Priya and Rajeshwari, may you introduce yourself a bit?
I'm Dr. Rajeshwari Rapata, and I've been the Dean and Professor in Homeopathic Medical College. I'm practicing since 23 years, and I'm on a project that is called as Ghar Ghar Homeopathy, and I'm promoting homeopathy in first aid and emergency medicine. I have a mission that I train people and make people aware of homeopathy in emergency medical conditions and first aid.
That's a great thing to do.
Thank you.
Priya?
That's amazing, Rajeshwari. I didn't know about this Gargar homeopathy project. That's amazing. Literally, it has to reach every household in India. And that is inspirational. So hello everyone. I'm Dr. Priya Subramanian. I've been practicing for the last 23 years. And 2 years ago, began online mental wellness clinic called as Vitalia. We are doing projects, especially a CME project, continuous medical education project. We have lectures, webinars that go on. Everything is online. That happens once a week. So literally thrice a month, we have our CME programs. And once a month, we have, like a group discussion where we are exploring the plant kingdom. And we've been exploring the plant kingdom for the last 2 years. So apart from that, I try to write. I love to travel, and whenever things become better, I'm long due for a holiday.
Who doesn't long for a holiday?
I'm putting it out there into the universe that I'm long overdue for a holiday, please.
Yeah. So I think someday we should do a live talk on emergency homeopathy in emergency cases.
Yeah, I would
Yes.
love to.
Remind me on that. So for today, we are on healing herbs and spices. And as far as I'm concerned, when I look at younger clients, especially moms, they nearly don't know how to cook. They don't spend time on cooking. And as far as I see, they lost the knowledge on what herbs to add for a healthy system, or even what spices give you relief in combination with the foods we have. How is this in India?
Yeah, so recently there was a discussion in our group that how people are losing interest in the cooking, mainly because the young moms they are more towards the career orientation. So they have lots of ambition. They want to do jobs, and while they are totally devoted towards the job, they are not getting enough time to cook. That is one drawback I can say. So even though they are interested, they are unable to get the time to cook. And another thing is when they try to focus on cooking, then they are not able to devote their time to the work and their creativity. So this is what has happened according to some discussion. I got some points. But there is nothing like losing interest in cooking. I can say according to my experience, till now I have been cooking. I don't have maid for cooking food. So I can say that within 1 hour, 1 hour is the time where I can cook around 5 to 6 dishes along with the chapatis and rice. So it is not the time, but it is the interest you have to develop, and the every skill has some tricks. So to learn the tricks, how to cook fast and healthy. That is very important. So if you know, if the young moms know this trick, then there will be wonders. The family will be happy, they will be healthy. That
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah, I know there are tricks. I use them myself. But I realized that the food doesn't taste the same when I cook fast. It
Hmm.
tastes lot better when I take time. I'm
Hmm.
very relaxed, and it even tastes the best when I'm cooking on open fire.
Hmm. The way
It definitely
Rajeshwari
takes
began,
time.
I thought that she's saying that, and I would have expected her to be a multitasker.
Mhm.
And the last part of what she said proved that my, read of her is correct. So that she's a multitasker, a very capable multitasker, and that's what it is about. Exactly. So there is no losing interest in cooking. There is an interest in, I suppose, using as less pre-packaged food as possible and eating as much fresh cooked food as possible. And when I say fresh cooked, I it can also be that you can make and freeze it so that it retains its nutritional value, and then you're using it for a couple of days going forward, and then the third day or the second day you're adding cooking fresh again. So when you actually cook fast and not overcook things, it tends to retain a lot of the nutritional value. And there are a lot of tips and tricks, as Marianne is saying, as Rajeshwari is saying. Again, it takes me about I would say 45 minutes to make like a typical Indian, South Indian lunch, and slightly longer for a few other things. But there are many things that you can do, like you can do your prep before, and you can chop your vegetables before and make sure that it's all completely nutritionally balanced, and that there are good amount of carbohydrates. There is this new trend to not eat carbohydrates, and I think that that's ridiculous, because you need carbohydrates. And then the trend comes that you don't eat fats, and but that's again ridiculous, because you need healthy fats. So Indian cooking, and since we both are from South India, it's about using a lot of the herbs and spices and making use of them to for their nutritional values, for tempering as powders, as dry roast powders, as marinades, as salad dressings, and try and pack a lot of flavor punch into the food that we cook. So herbs and spices pack in that flavor punch, and it pleases the tongue, so you tend to eat it with a lot of gusto, and then it's more nutritionally aware cooking, I would say, the age old cooking.
Yes, this is definitely something. What you can say it food has to taste good and it has to satisfy you.
Hmm.
If that is not there, why eat at all? Eating should make you happy.
Yes.
So each time I go to the kitchen intending to eat something, I'm thinking of what would make me happy today. And as you know, Priya, a lot of times I'm back to carrot salad.
Yes, I know that. I had carrot salad as well today. So, with a lot of black, the mustard seeds, and tempered with mustard seeds and coriander and
Mhm.
salt and little splash of lemon, and
Mhm.
all of these are very nice herbs, and of course green chilies. So
Mhm.
without
So
those.
let me, continue.
mm,
So
so
today I made lotus stem curry and crispies, and along with that the cherry tomato gravy.
Mm.
uh, yeah, and sweet frankie, and that grated coconut frankie, and the masala frankie. So this was
mm,
my Sunday special menu today. So
mm,
every time I cook, I try to innovate. I try to make something special. So it is not a boredom for those who are eating in the family. So for this, I would advise like people who are working moms, busy moms, or even not only moms but also bachelors nowadays. They cook food. So it is better, it is advisable that you make a timetable schedule for a 1 week, or if it is still suitable for you, you can make for a 1 month. So you can make a schedule that, yeah, so today so and so food I'm going to cook. So when my kids were very small, at that time it was a very busy schedule. I had to run to the office, come back from work, and then cooking. So deciding what to cook was also a tedious job. So for that, I used to make a timetable. Yes, Monday breakfast this thing, and then this will be the menu, the whole day menu, and the next day Tuesday, like that. For a week menu, I used to make and stick it on the kitchen wall so that it's not like tedious. And evening I used to prepare all the masalas, the preparation. So the preparation would be done in the evening, the masalas would be kept in the fridge, and next morning it's very easy to do everything.
I agree. So even when my kids were little, the idea was to never have any packaged children's food and to rely on the tested, trusted basics. A lot of the mise en place used to be done before, and you do the planning. I was not much of a planner per se, but there are certain basics that we have grown up with. So then they got the basics till they were old enough to say and ask what they wanted. So the basics is rice and any kind of lentil with a little turmeric in it and cooked like that to make it soft. Put a dash of salt and two generous dollop of ghee or clarified butter, and any vegetable. So it can be potatoes, it can be carrots, it can be spinach, blanched and cooked. It can be anything. So then they would get this for lunch, and then they would get a curd rice, which is again cooked rice and homemade curd. Again, this is a cooling. This is a digestive. They would get this, and and when they were even much more younger, I would put everything into the pressure cooker, like a lot of small pastas and all the vegetables that I had, and make it into a kind of a porridge kind of thing for them, and with cubes of chicken or whatever. And so it literally has everything in it: protein, carbohydrate, fat, and all the essentials, and salt and pepper, black pepper, and everything goes well with that, with a little clarified butter.
Correct.
So the point is to make things easy digestible.
Yes.
Okay. So when you told me about the carrot salad, you add green chilies,
Yes.
coriander, and what else?
So what we do is you grate the carrot, peel and grate the carrots, and temper, in a little oil. We use now organic cold press groundnut oil.
Mhm.
So temper it with a little black mustard seeds and
Ah,
curry leaves and cut green chilies, and just let it splutter a bit, and then put that onto this salt, lemon juice, and a little sugar to taste, and dress it with coriander, and then you mix it. So it's a very refreshing, salty, tangy, salad. And we are getting the best of the winter carrots now, so the pink carrots.
mhm,
So mustard has these essential oils. They're all sulfur oils. They have a
mhm.
lot of sulfur in them. So, that's why when you put it into a little oil and it splutters, that's when they split open and the aromats are released. And this black mustard is very good for, it has oil, it has good fats, very good for the skin and hair. And, and green chilies have again capsaicin. So again, it's very good for fat burning, improving the metabolic rate. It also gives a lot of heat to the body when, say, it's a very cold weather outside. So it gives that warmth from inside. It also pleases, of course, the mouth. It helps you perspire. So
And as far as I can see, it increases the gallbladder function and the
mm,
flow of the gallbladder juice. And even if we think of all the sulfurates, it's disinfecting in the intestines.
yes, yes. So all of our foods have something like this. Of course, neither of us cook without garlic or ginger.
Mhm.
Rajeshwari, I'm sure, is adding a lot of garlic and onion. I don't know how to cook without garlic and onion. And
Mhm.
something called as Asafetida, which is not grown in India. It's a Chinese thing or a Far Eastern thing, but
Afghanistan. It's
yes, and we generously consume Asafetida. We cannot cook without it. It's a digestive. It makes sure that there is no flatulence, and it adds that umami taste to your food. So a pinch of it when you're beginning your cooking in the oil, and it's excellent in your lentils, and it's excellent in a lot of the dals that we use. Of course, other vegetable preparations also.
So when I look at the Greek cooking, it is much more simple because the carrot salad here is done with lemon juice, salt, very good olive oil, and raw carrots. That's it. And maybe
you can also
a
you can
bit
also
of
add
dill on it.
yes, you
Still.
can also add this soaked lentils into that and
Hmm.
grated coconut. It will taste very nice.
Yes. What we call as a koshambri preparation, no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that it would be very nice, but it here people would eat it very simple,
Hmm.
Mm.
very very simple. So I can see from what you're telling me, the Indian cooking is much more abundant.
Yes.
It
It's
has
more
lot.
flavorful.
It has a natural abundance in it, which is not here. Here things are very very simple. Even if people go outside and get wild herbs, they just would put them into oil and add lemon and salt and eat it, or maybe make a pie of it.
Mm.
That's it. Maybe add a bit of feta to it,
Mm.
but keep it very, very, very simple. So
Another,
different.
uh, spice that we cannot cook without is ginger. I don't know about you, Rajeshwari.
Yeah,
Ginger?
I do use ginger, garlic, and onions also, but according to the occasion, not regularly, but I do use that. Yeah. So what Hippocrates had said, let
Mm.
food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. No? So
Yeah.
accordingly, we need to treat whatever we are eating not to because it is tasty or because we consider it as healthy. If you have anything in excess, then it will give some symptoms to you. So that is the basic rule which I follow. Nothing in excess. You know. So Indians, we have a spice box, if you know it or not. The spice box has a compartments around we have around 12 to 15 compartments in
Mhm.
which we
Wow, I
keep
have a
all
7 one. Hmm.
7 1. So I have
One
a
with
12
7.
one.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
in that we keep the spices. So in each compartment, like mustard seeds are there, cumin, these are the essentials. Every day in everyday cooking we use. So half spoon to 1 spoon we use it every day in the garnishing.
Mm-hmm.
So mustard
So
seeds are there, cumin
mustard
seeds,
seeds and what?
cumin seeds,
Cumin
then
Yeah.
seeds.
red chili powder, turmeric powder. Okay, four things are over. We have caraway seeds. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we have this sesame seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And some moong dal, which gives a little bit of crisp taste, crispy thing, which it comes under the teeth. It tastes good. So I keep moong dal also along with in the spice box. Okay, and hing, that is the Asafetida, that also we keep. So all these things add up spice to the or taste to the flavor to the foods which we make. So garnishing we use all these things.
Mm-hmm.
My spice box has the cumin seeds, black mustard seeds, black pepper seeds,
Yeah, black
fenugreek seeds,
fenugreek
and
seeds.
the udad dal or the white lentils, and the
Hmm.
chana dal, which is the chickpeas. No,
Correct.
the chana dal is the sort of round lentils that we use in tempering. So then udad dal and chana dal is protein. So, but it's used during tempering. It kind of crisps up, and
Hmm.
when you're eating something, it comes there. And so there are many who actually pick out the uh, black mustard seeds and keep them apart. But we were always taught as children that, whether it be the curry leaves which are used in tempering, whether it be the black mustard seeds, or whether it is anything else, even cumin seeds, you're supposed to eat everything
Yes,
along
you're
with
supposed to eat
when
everything.
you're.
Nowadays, children just they pick up that curry leaves also they pick up, remove it, and that mustard seeds also. They just
Mm,
remove it. They don't like when we put the mustard seeds. But we were taught to eat it along with the curries and everything. Even the curry leaves also, we don't remove it. We just chew it and eat it.
in fact, the
Yeah.
curry leaves, which look like very small bay leaves, or have small quantities of gold in them, is what I was told when I was a little girl by my grandmother. So she would say, never throw out the curry leaves, which are used during tempering. They actually, you either cut them or you tear them to release more of the aroma. And fresh curry leaves are absolutely aromatic, wonderful, and they're also digestive. You're also getting a lot of essential minerals in that. I suppose there's a lot of selenium and magnesium, copper, I suppose, in that.
Copper,
And you might
potassium,
have
and
said gold, but it could
antioxidants.
also be copper. So they harness that, so it's
Mhm.
very essential. Helps hair growth, helps keep the hair dark. And
Yes,
even curry leaf oil, if you can put it in coconut oil and extract the curry leaf, by
use it.
gently boiling it and applying it for the hair, it's supposed to darken the hair and improve hair growth.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Here for darkening and improving hair growth, we use fresh olive oil and rosemary in it.
Yes, rosemary as well. But since rosemary is not very widely used in India, it's mainly the hibiscus blooms or the hibiscus,
Mhm.
petals, and you have the neem, or um,
Mm.
the neem leaves and the curry leaves. You can heat it with coconut oil,
Mhm.
gently heat it, like simmer it,
Mhm.
and then decant it, strain it, decant it, and then use it to apply on the hair. So coconut has all the mid chain fatty acids, and very essential to, very rich in potassium, and the short chain fatty acids, which are very good for the brain.
Mhm.
So coconut is consumed a lot. So
Yeah, I remember that my grandmother, my mother and my grandmother, both they used to prepare this coconut oil at home only,
yes,
mixing
yes,
this curry
Mm.
leaves and methi feather seeds, fenugreek seeds, and
yes,
hibiscus flowers. They used to
yes,
just heat it in the coconut oil or sesame oil. Both are good
yes.
for herbs, and that they used to keep for use. We never used to buy that parachute oil and the tinned oils, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because now if you see the back of that, I was very surprised to see that parachute oil has mineral oil in it, and it's not pure coconut oil as we used to think. And you can't really apply mineral oil to children's hair, or to the scalp. And we add a dash of fresh coconut oil also. When we're making such certain coconut curry preparations like avial. In avial, you need fresh coconut oil. So and it has all the vegetables. So another thing growing up, which in my household, my grandmother, we had grandmothers living with us. So when nonnas live with you and grandmothers live with you, and the children are told that, with a lot of love, that you're supposed to eat like this, then they tend to generally pass on that information, that matrilineal, or your patrilineal, I suppose, information that they have learned from their grandmothers. So we always had spinach every day growing up. So you
Mhm.
had the rice and lentils, and cooked rice, cooked lentils, dash of clarified butter, and any other vegetable, but spinach for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Boiled blanched spinach with tempered with something, and maybe a little coconut shredded into it. That is a must. You have to eat it with your your first lentil and rice, and you cannot waste any of it. You have to eat it.
Okay, I see.
And if curry leaf came in between, you have to chew it up and eat it, and you can't waste any of the food that comes onto your plate. So I
Mhm.
find it very difficult to eat small portions even now, or to keep something aside, because you're brought up with that thing that you're supposed to eat everything that's put on your plate, even so we're brought up like that.
It's a granny's thing. Eat what you have on your plate.
Yes, yes,
Because a
yes.
lot of our grannies suffered from not having not enough to eat. But as I see, it's the same in India. All the knowledge is passed down the maternal line, and if you
Yes.
don't have a granny to tell you, the knowledge gets lost.
There is another big trend these days of children eating downstairs when they're playing. You have a nanny or someone pursuing them. They're busy cycling, and then the nanny says, "Have a bite," and then cycle, have a bite, and then cycle. And I am so completely against this, because meals are not meals on wheels. They're supposed to, you're supposed to sit down and
Yeah.
eat and be done with it, and play when you're playing, and not eat when you're playing and play when you're eating. So
Leave
unless
children,
you're,
even adults do that nowadays.
I
They
know.
are in a hurry, so yes, in even in the corporate offices, they don't just sit, like it's like a buffet, you take the plate and stand there and eat. Mhm. So eating on the move.
And I don't know if you mix, the cereals. Like if I eat, if there's a day that I eat rice in both my meals. I eat only two meals. And if I eat wheat in one meal, I eat only wheat that day. Or if I don't generally tend to mix my cereals. I
Mhm.
find that helps me a lot. As for me, it works personally. And there was a long time in between that I didn't eat rice. But then what you're brought up eating is what you generally gravitate towards eating. So we're brought up eating rice, so we generally, it gives a much more good feeling of satiety when you have what you're grown up eating. So
Mhm.
I
We
suppose for you,
mostly
Pariyan,
prefer
I don't.
prefer eating chapatis, that is the wheat, in the daytime, and evenings we take the rice.
Mm,
Mostly when we are working, and on holidays, then it is preferable we can have the rice in the morning also as well as in the evening. I'm more of
mm.
a rice person.
Mm. Yeah, given a choice, even I'm as I grow older, I'm finding that I prefer rice. It's comforting. It feels good. You have very less, even if you have this much rice, it's incredibly comforting. And then you have your whole process, and you're eating, so it's good. I don't know, do you use ginger, Rajeshwari, every day?
Ginger, yes, I prepare ginger. I love it. Almost, I
Yes.
put it in the tea, ginger
Yes,
tea.
me too.
I use it in masalas. Then
Yes.
I make ginger. This ginger chutney,
Ah,
Yes.
jaggery ginger chutney. That I prepare. Then ginger chicky. It is
Mm.
called as alapak. That is,
Oh, okay.
it is prepared. It is grated, and that is prepared in a syrup, sugary syrup. It's called as alapak. It's good for the sore throat, cough, and all.
Yes. Yes,
So
yes, yes.
ginger, I use it.
I
Ginger
had
gives that
to
heat.
learn to use ginger because it was not natural to me.
Mm.
I like it very, very much now, and I use it a lot in tea.
Yes.
Ginger tea, yes.
So what we do when we temper our food in the beginning with a little oil, after you've added the mustard and the curry leaves and the green chili, split green chili, is when you can add a little bit of ginger paste. I generally make my paste for the whole week on Mondays. Mondays, when I get fresh vegetables for the whole week. So it saves a lot of time. And so you end up eating greens. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because you get fresh greens, so you eat greens, and then you eat the other vegetables. So without, Mondays, when the ginger is comes fresh, it's soaked overnight, it's washed, it's cleaned, the skin is scraped a little bit, and then you run it through the food processing and put it in an airtight container, and you keep it. It holds for 2 weeks. So and apart from that, we still buy ginger,
Mhm.
and we have it with our chai. And you have it even otherwise. If you're preparing something else that needs ginger, you put it in that. And so we eat a lot of ginger as well.
Now, coming to spices in India, you have a different kind of usage according to the state. Like you see, go to the northern state, those are the cold states, and coming towards the south and mid part of India, then it becomes hotter and hotter. So the usage of spices is more towards the mid part of India and towards the southern part.
Hmm.
And towards the
No, but
north, recently I
even the
went to
northern, yeah,
Himachal Pradesh. But yes, recently I went to Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand little bit they were using, but Himachal Pradesh there was no availability of mirchi, this thing, pepper. So green chilies, we were not getting it, and fortunately, I took a small box of this pickles and thecha. You said that red color chilies. We prepare this chutney of that, and it is
hmm.
preserved for 1 week. It stays for 1 week to 1 month. So these things I took along with me. So it was very good because we can't stay without those hot spices. Food doesn't
Yes,
taste good.
I know. I know. So you're from Andhra Pradesh and I'm from
Um,
Tamil Nadu. So, together between us, we are two-thirds of the trio of the South Indian states. And
yeah.
we also eat a little bit like the Kerala people. So in the sense that we use a lot of coconut,
Mhm.
but we use more green chilies. But Andhra Pradesh, as her sari, she consumes a lot of red chilies and
Mhm.
powdered red chilies, and
Yes.
we eat a lot of green chilies. But we also do, as I'm a South Indian, we also make something called as gunpowder at home, and no house is without its own recipe for gunpowder.
Recipe. Correct.
And you need that, and that's like having money in the bank. Uh, you
Oh.
know, with your I don't know, every house the gunpowder varies, but we
Yes.
make our own. We've always made our own. So it's red chilies, dry roasted black mustard
Mhm.
seeds, and your um,
Cumin seeds.
chana dal, and no cumin
Coriander.
seeds in our house.
Gunpowder is sambar powder, you're telling.
No, gunpowder, the one that you eat with idlis and dosas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Curry leaves and all that. Little
Curry
bit of
leaves, and
tamarind, coconut, grated
we
coconut.
don't put
Yeah, recently I
we
tried
don't
that.
put curry
No?
leaves and tamarind, and
Mhm.
we have sesame seeds and uh, the udad dal, and all of these along with jaggery. So you dry roast everything and powder it,
Okay.
and you put it like a sort of dressing, and
Mhm.
you either put olive oil or sesame oil in it, and you dip your food in it, and then you have it.
Yes,
So
yes. Along with idli and
breakfast has
dosa.
to have idlis, and for as a condiment on top,
Yeah.
we generally make a 1 kilo for a month,
Yes,
so
yes.
we
This
do that
we
also.
also make this. But ours is like we make sesame seeds powder
Hmm.
and fenugreek powder. Then
Hmm.
we have that Kandhi Podi that if you know or not in Andhra, it's very famous, popular. This every house has this Kandhi Podi that is made up of the tur dal. That
Hmm.
powder is made, and that is there always. If you go to Tirupati, you'll get those four bowls which are different powders are kept. So uh, so this thing we have these
This is
powders.
very
And
interesting. What
So
is the medical value of that gunpowder?
the
let me tell you.
gunpowder has red chilies. So again, the capsaicin. Then you have the black sesame seeds again for the essential oils, the sulfur oils. Then you have three kinds of protein. So you have your sesame seeds again toasted with the sesame oil coming from it, a lot of calcium coming from it. Then you have sesame powder also has a little iron in it, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. And then you have the udad dal and the chana dal and one more kind of dal, the white dal, the chutney one. And then you have all of this and jaggery and salt and asafoetida. So you dry roast everything, and
Mhm.
then you grind them up separately dry, and then you mix them, and then you add salt to taste and asafoetida. So it is one powder which is ready to digest, which already been cooked and powdered and kept. You make a small little well, put your olive oil in it, mix it into a kind of runny thing,
Mhm.
and my children love it. And it's you can make it as spicy or as bland as you like, but
Mhm.
it's mouth watering. My mouth is watering thinking of it now, and it improves the salivation, I suppose. And when you're eating your breakfast, it gives that boost to your metabolism because you're eating, say, idlis or dosas, which is a rice preparation and which is just steamed. So it's healthy. It adds that dipping thing to your,
Mhm.
your thing.
It sounds like increasing the digestive fluids,
Yes,
increasing pancreatic work.
It has lot of fiber. It has lot
yes,
of fiber, and it is good for the triglycerides to reduce the triglycerides and the cholesterol, balance the cholesterol levels.
Yeah.
mm,
So,
So it's
yeah,
a metabolic accelerator.
and it has to be
yes.
used unhulled because the skin upper the skin is removed, polished once. That is not good. So the unhulled ones is the good ones. It is available white as well as black. The black one is more medicinal, but people use it
Sesame,
less.
no? Sesame
Sesame,
seeds, no,
sesame
Rajeshwari?
seeds,
Yeah.
sesame seeds.
So sesame seeds is, we also use sesame seeds with jaggery, and you can make it into a kind of ball, like a
Mhm.
kind of laddu. And that, even black sesame seeds again, or the
Mm.
white ones, you have two a day or something, very good for calcium, very good for your iron. And, so
Yes.
generally we use more of jaggery and very less of sugar. So jaggery is the unrefined thing that you get from your sugarcane juice,
Mhm.
the big mass of jaggery that we get. And generally, you break it into slivers. It's a very good dessert also. You have a small piece of jaggery at the end of a meal. It's very satisfying. Jaggery gives that heat,
Mhm.
and in winter months. And
Rich in iron also.
yeah,
Rich in iron,
fenugreek greens
calcium,
also.
potassium,
Yeah.
manganese. So it has lots of minerals in it, and it's very useful. Selenium is also there in sesame.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it is.
Do you
That's
eat the radish greens and the sesame greens, Rajeshwari,
Yeah,
in your with your?
uh, we make that. I've just put it in the soil and the sprouts come out, but we don't. It's not available in the market. Radish greens are available,
Hmm.
but sesame greens are not available.
No, I meant, I'm so sorry, mustard greens.
Mustard greens, yeah, mustard
I
greens.
meant to
We
say
can make it
mustard.
at home also, kitchen food. We can
Yeah.
just sow it in the small bowls, and then that comes out as sprouts. It is around 2 inches to 3 inches it sprouts, and then that we can cut and make the green leafy curry.
Like a kind of
I make out of
sour.
fenugreek also. I make it at home only.
So in the winter months, this is a North Indian thing that we generally get here. So November, December, Jan, you get a lot of mustard greens, to which we add your spinach. You can add the chinopodium leaves, and make it into a sort of a mash with a
Mhm.
lot of green chilies and onion and tomatoes and garlic, and it cooks for a while, and then you mash it, and then you add a lot of clarified butter, and you have it with your flour tortillas, or your rotis, which is your
Mhm.
flat bread. You just dip it and you have it. It's very rich, it's very wholesome, it's a
Warming.
hearty stew, it's like a stew. So
Mhm.
it's very wholesome and warming and hearty for the
Mhm.
So
winter
there is
months.
there is something called as garam masala, if you know or not.
Yes.
It's
Mhm.
garam means hot, so hot spicy powder. So this
Mhm.
we have, and this also differs area
Mm.
wise. So some people they use like they use somewhat goda masala they call it in the no, the western parts of Maharashtra, and then
Yes.
there is something called as the garam masala which is plain. There is biryani masala. So all these different kinds of masalas are there, used depending on the type of curry we prepare. So this garam masala usually they have this bay leaves. Bay
Mhm.
leaves are there, cloves are there, cardamom, black cardamom as well as green cardamom. They put in that. Then cumin seeds, a little bit of fenugreek seeds, then black pepper. All
Mhm.
these things are just grind and they just roast it and grind it and keep it in a box so that it can be used in the curries, different curries.
So do you
I
make your own garam masala?
Yeah, I make. I
We
make
also
chai
make.
masala. I make my own chai masala, garam masala, biryani masala, and sambar masala. So all these masalas I make for myself.
So we also make our own garam masala, and my grandmother has, a sambar masala recipe, which my mother makes and sends. So,
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah,
a family
that is
recipe.
a great boon. Even my mother makes that, and she used to send to me recently, till recently, but
Mhm.
nowadays it's not. But I have learned it, so I make it for myself.
So this is interesting. This is a family tradition thing,
Yes.
and the grannies make it as long as they can. It's a gift to get it,
Correct.
and it's obviously is to keep the family healthy.
And store bought is not the same, it just doesn't taste the same. Or if you can access some sort of small family held shop where over two generations they've been making these masalas, and you can contact them and tell them that you need this specific masala, and they can even send it to you. There are a couple of places in North
Yes,
India
yes.
that
There
you
are
can
people, there are
call them
ladies
for
who
it.
make homemade masalas, and many
Yes,
times I prefer, if I'm not able to make it, then I get
precisely.
it from the homemade, the housewives who make it at home and they sell it, So that tastes better than the things which are sold in the stores.
Correct. Here in Maharashtra, this Goda masala also has in dry
Okay, coconut,
roasted dry coconut,
dry
and
coconut,
so then the
and onion
oils
powder.
are much more potent. And if you chew dry coconut,
Mm.
the mouth ulcers get better, and it's a very good exercise also for your jaws, because it's quite tough to have it. And it when the oils are released, it's so good. So generally when we were growing up, and you have ever developed a mouth ulcer, grandmother would give a small piece of dry coconut, and you chewed it and chewed it and chewed it, and the oil, I suppose,
Mhm.
got spread all over the mouth, and whatever ulcer you had, or a small thing cut or something, got sorted out.
I don't know, but I remember one thing in our rural places at our native Andhra Pradesh. There is a tradition, newly married couples, they used to be given this, coconut, dry coconut, jaggery, and that har dal, dalia, which is called as chickpeas, split chickpeas. So roasted ones. These three things were kept in a bowl, and they wanted the couple to consume that regularly, 2 to 3 months after marriage. I don't know what's the medicinal value of it, but they used to say it is like a aphrodisiac or something like that.
Maybe it might be rich in
Along with,
potassium, selenium, zinc,
yes.
and might be helping with performance or something like that. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe also with the vitamin B for as a kind of folate help,
Mhm.
because they generally prefer that the newlyweds also have the kid immediately. So
Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
That's one.
Interesting. So I see that in your country, the spices are mostly cooked and ground, whereas
hmm,
here we would use them as fresh as possible. Just go out in the garden and get the fresh oregano and use it for the tomato sauce or the thyme or the rosemary or even the bay leaves. If I'm doing a soup or something, I'm just going out to the garden, get a few bay leaves and put them in the pot.
Yeah.
So this
Bay
is
leaves,
very different access to herbs.
bay leaves are very healthy, but what happens when we put it in the food, our kids are even asked, we remove it, we don't chew it. Bay leaves, even though we chew everything, we eat everything, but bay leaves, we remove it,
correct.
but it adds flavor. It has vitamin A, B, C, B6 it has. It is also useful for diabetes. So it has medicinal values, bay leaves. And how can we forget the turmeric and pepper, black pepper? Because it is used almost in every food which you use, except for chapatis and rice. In every food we put the turmeric.
I
So,
have
and we also,
turmeric powder and I have the black pepper and I use it, but actually, if I get fresh turmeric, I would prefer that.
So there are a lot
I
of
would
people.
just prefer the fresh things. This is, I think, this is a main difference.
yes, yes.
There are a lot
But
of
fresh
people who have.
turmeric we can't preserve it for many days. So that's
Yes.
why it is dried. It is dried and then it is powdered and we keep it. And we get original fresh turmeric. So
Mhm.
in Mahabaleshwar, if you go to Mahabaleshwar, you get that. Have you seen Priya? They just sell the whole turmeric and turmeric powder, fresh organic. You know, So many times I buy from there.
My
Otherwise, we
mother generally makes it for me. So
yes.
she gets the
So
turmeric,
we
she dries it in the sun, and she sends it to the mill, and then it's hand
we
pounded,
can
and
make it
then
at home. That
nice.
also we can make it home. So last season my mother made it. She brought those turmeric roots and
Hmm.
then she soaked it in water and then dried it so that it becomes softer. And
Hmm.
then it was grounded and then the powder was made and the powder was again sun dried and then it was preserved in the box. And one secret I will tell you, this turmeric and pepper powder, which we use with milk, whenever we have cold, flu, and sore throat or cough, we are always given the turmeric and pepper powder mixed with milk, and mothers and grannies, they ask us to drink that, no, to get relief of that. It has medicinal properties. Now, combination of pepper and turmeric, there is some kind of enzyme which helps, that is pepperine, that helps boost the power of curcumin which is present in turmeric.
Mhm.
So it acts in combination very well. And then that is a medicinal thing.
You would take
That
it
is
for the sore throat.
For the sore throat. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the
yes,
night.
sore throat. Sore
Here we
throat.
would here we would take sage tea
Hmm?
with honey and drink it as hot as possible.
Yes.
So it have
Same thing is done
cleansing
very
from
well.
the honey and the disinfection from the sage.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. In India, it is not commonly available. Sage and what others the thing which you said, that
Rosemary.
celery leaves,
Rosemary and sage, you can get it dry.
rosemary. Dried everything is available. Oregano, all these things available in the small
Mhm.
bottles, that is imported, I think, I don't know, but it is available, but it is not Indian traditional spices.
That's Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Generally, when we make pizza, or as when I make pizza at home, and or when we are having pasta and you need it in the pasta sauce, is when we reach for our Italian herbs and seasonings, that the big bottle, and
Yes.
use that then.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The difference is the use of dried things and fresh things, as far as I can see. Because I would always go to the garden and take my basil from there. And
Hmm.
even if I would make a calming tea, I would take basil and lemon and make a tea of it with fresh herbs.
Yes,
I would
basil
only
is
tend
also
to go to dried herbs for the winter for a few weeks where I can't access the fresh ones.
Basil generally, if it's available now in Mumbai. So generally, basil I buy only when we are cooking again Italian, or when I'm making
Mhm.
pesto, and I need to make a basil pesto, is when I buy it. And of course, it's best fresh when it's
Mhm.
so aromatic, and otherwise as a salad dressing also you can
Mhm.
use with oil and.
holy basil is always available in my balcony.
Hmm.
So that's not a big problem. We just collect those twigs and then we put it in the tea. That
Mhm.
is
Hmm.
used. Another one thing is lemon leaves. If you know, lemon leaves also make a very tasty tea.
Hmm.
Lemon grass is there, then lemon leaves, which we use
Mhm.
lemon juice. Those lemon leaves, they add just beautiful flavor to the tea if you use it. Coriander tea is also very good. It has medicinal properties which increase the metabolism. It helps in the weight loss also.
It's
And
very
we've covered
interesting.
almost all the cinnamon and garlic and ginger and mustard and black pepper, turmeric, cloves, chamomile. Chamomile is not available here, but when my boys were little, they used to get chamomile tea at bedtime as a calming tea.
This is very
Peppermint,
common here.
And we use this kalonji also, nigella seeds, if
yes,
you know.
Nigel. Yeah.
Yeah. That is also very good medicinal thing because it has the properties which when we chew it and which it is released into the bloodstream, it just releases some kind of enzymes and which will just remove those harmful radicals which is present in the bloodstream. So
Mhm.
it acts as a improving our defense mechanism, that is the immunity system. So this is also it also has a high metabolic activity, increases the metabolism of the
Mhm.
body. Hence, it is also useful for the diabetes. So some people, they just take some seeds and soak it overnight and have it in the morning,
Interesting.
and for diabetes,
Yes, like
also for weight
talking
loss.
fenugreek seeds also, which
Fenugreek
have a
also has the
direct
same
action
property.
on the
Yes,
insulin.
fenugreek also has the same properties.
Talking about diabetes, how do you use cinnamon? Because for diabetes and diabetic people, we use cinnamon in the coffee, in the tea, in nearly everything.
One interesting factor regarding cinnamon, there are two types of cinnamon available.
Mm.
One is the cassia type of cinnamon, cassia cinnamon, and another one is the Ceylon cinnamon. So this Ceylon cinnamon, it is having some mild flavor, and the cassia cinnamon, it has a very high flavor. You know, so this cinnamon has a property called as coumarin. So coumarin is said to increase the cancerous activity in the body. So it is said that we should not consume more of this cassia cinnamon, but Ceylon cinnamon can be used. Means you can use it more in spices.
Interesting.
Yeah, the
So
Ceylon
people
one is the
don't.
one that we use, even in our garam masalas, even in our tea. So generally, the tea masala has dried ginger, holy basil leaves, this a bit of cinnamon, and what
Cardamom,
else?
cardamom,
Cardamom.
yes,
Yeah.
cloves and dried ginger. All
Hmm.
this we put and make the chai masala.
So it's all from what I can hear. There's a lot of astringent stuff in it. It makes dry. It consumes all the bad fluid in the body.
So that one cup of chai has to be with all of this, and hot. And
Hmm.
so we are a big chai drinking people. So
Hmm.
that my one cup of chai at 4 o'clock, had nobody better stand in between me and my chai, and with the ginger and with the jaggery and with the basil leaves and with
Hmm.
even the pudina,
Mint
the
leaves.
mint leaves also, and sometimes even the lemongrass. If you're not adding milk, then you can add lemongrass. So
Okay,
yeah.
then
I
you
have stopped
balance
adding milk since
between hot
long
and
to the
sorry.
tea.
Hmm?
Adding milk to the tea is not good for health.
Yes, then the mucus consuming quality is done. I
There is some
understand that.
reaction. There is
Hmm?
some reaction between the milk and the tea, whatever the properties of the tea, and so it reacts and then acts as a slow poison. So if the milk is added, then it acts as a slow poison. If the milk is removed, then it becomes medicinal.
It's the same with the coffee actually. If you have very good coffee,
Yes.
it can be good for the body. But the moment you add milk into it, it becomes a poison.
So
Yeah.
I've been able to remove my milk from my coffee. My coffee is black, no milk, no sugar, but my chai at 4 o'clock has a dash of milk in it. As a sort of, you've done very well today. Here's your cup of chai, kind of cup of chai that I
Self
have.
pampering, self love.
Yes.
I just wondered why you add the peppermint because then it gets cooler.
Dried peppermint gives a flavor, which we generally add in most of our salads. We add in our biryanis, in our rice preparation, and it's cooling as well, but it gives a certain flavor also. So for the aromats, we also use it there
For the freshness and happiness.
for the
I
freshness.
understand.
There are other herbs also, like spring onion, then
Hmm.
the springs of the garlic. Those
Mhm.
also taste. Then you have the coriander leaves, then
Mhm.
the fenugreek leaves. These are also used in the different garnishings and all. You can use it. That tastes good. Even with the Maggi noodles, pasta, with that also we can use these herbs.
Interesting.
Mm.
It's not from a Mediterranean point of view, you wouldn't do it.
No, no, no. We even if pasta was, there is a similar dish like pasta which Indians
Mhm,
prepare. It's called as dal bati. If you know, it's a Rajasthani dish.
mhm.
They make them the pieces of wheat, wheat flour. They just make it in the form of pasta, and they just mix it with the lentils,
Yeah.
and that tastes very good. And along with that, you put all the kasuri methi into that. That is the dried fenugreek leaves.
Mhm.
You put coriander leaves into that. You can add spring onion also. So there are dishes which are similar to the Italian dishes or the Mediterranean dishes in India. The names differ, preparation little bit differs, but we add all the spices and herbs just similar to that.
Still, from my point of view of cooking, it is too abundant. Go for a more puristic style,
Yeah.
No.
Select
This is
high,
as
high,
pure
high
as we
quality.
Indians get, Maria. This is
Hmm?
as pure as we Indians get. We Indians also eat very pure. This is as pure as we get. We are flavorful. You can't take the flavor out of
Yeah, I understand. I understand. This is very interesting to talk about it.
minimum. This is our minimum. I'm not talking about luxurious eating. This is our minimum.
This
This
is
is our
minimum.
minimum. Absolute bare minimum. I've not
Mhm.
added a single luxury product in this.
So interesting.
We can say
So,
that rosemary and the other things which you said, those can be a little bit of exotic for us. But
mhm,
coriander, mustard seeds, cumin seeds, the cardamom, all these are regular things which we use in the kitchen.
mhm. And what I understand today is that the taste from the Mediterranean to the Indian is between keeping it simple and mono flavored
Hmm.
to taking it to abundance and happiness.
Yeah, that can be
And
tried,
very full
keeping it
flavored.
simple.
Because
Yes.
here you would care about whether you would add basil or oregano to the tomato to give it different flavors, but you would keep it in one way, in one direction. You would maybe think what tomato to add to the oregano and what tomato you would have with the basil,
Hmm.
but you wouldn't think of putting it all together.
We are very simple. We like everything together.
So
We
this
don't
is a
think so
very,
much.
very
We don't
interesting
think so
definition
much.
of
We don't
simple.
have the luxury of thinking whether cherry tomatoes will go with this, or the heirloom tomatoes will go with that. You add everything. So it's very
Mhm.
simple. It's no nonsense. It's very simple.
Okay, okay.
The
Oh,
day,
who is
this,
this?
oh wow,
This is Juno.
Tigris. Is this Tigris?
No, this is Juno.
Juno.
Oh.
This is my fur baby, Interesting. He didn't come for
Very
breakfast today.
wholesome. It's very wholesome and more flavorful, and
Mhm.
pack as much flavor punch as you can. And, so.
From the digestive point of view, or the medical point of view, what you are doing makes more sense. And if I'm thinking of the northern parts of Europe, then the spices gets very low. It's pepper and paprika and cumin, salt, and for the other herbs, they are dried ones, or yeah, people may use it or not.
Mm.
Oh, isn't that a nice cat? Huh?
Juno is feeling the Sunday mood now.
Lovely.
Yes, I know. So, when you add more flavor, because we do tend to eat the lentils as well. Lentils you can't eat just like that without tempering or without adding flavors, because as a flavor profile they're very bland. So, in order to make your lentils more flavorful, you need to add these things. You need a little bit of sour, you need a little bit of spicy, you need a little umami.
Mm-hmm.
And that sourness comes from that with the tamarind extract or tomatoes. And the umami comes from the Asafoetida. And the spicy taste comes from the green or red chilies. And your underlying base flavors come from maybe the mustard taste or
Mm-hmm.
those things. So it's a much more well-rounded flavor profile that we prefer.
It's definitely rounded and it's huge, huge, huge amounts more of flavor. If I'm thinking of, you know, times back when food was not so available, one of the Austrian dishes would have been just potatoes with linseed oil and salt. That's it.
Mm.
But it would have been very simple. In your country, you would have added a huge amount of spices to it.
No, no, even our potatoes, dish is very simple. It just has mustard and cumin and asafoetida and red chili powder and turmeric and green chilies and if you need onions, in it. And
Hmm.
it's the simplest, the real simplest thing that you can make to go with your anything in the morning for breakfast. So,
Yes, but you see, your simple spice mixture is something that would have um, the sense of total abundance and luxury from a
hmm.
northern European point of view, because then it goes really down to salt and pepper
No,
maximum.
I'm not. So this is not luxury. This is what I'm trying to say in a very humorous way. So
Mhm,
even if, as a child growing up, also I have eaten my rice and lentils and clarified butter. This is basic,
mhm.
and your blanched spinach with tempering of a little mustard and this. So it's something that you can cook in like 20 minutes perhaps, but it's simple. It's nutritious. It's really basic food. To that you add your lentil, slightly better preparation, like a sambar or a rasam. And depending upon when what it is, rasam is also something that I know your house will have some 10 types of rasam, and my house will have probably 2 3 types of rasam. And
Yeah.
if you ever are feeling fluey or tired or worn down, this is a preparation that we generally make. It's very rich in toasted cumin and black pepper and asafoetida.
And
Is
tamarind.
just simmered
Yeah.
in a tamarind broth kind of thing. You can either temper it with curry leaves, or you don't need to temper it. You either add tomato, you don't add
Little
tomato.
bit of pepper, use it.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling tired, if you're having some flu, cold, just have a cup of this rasam. You feel
Absolutely.
so beautiful. That goes away without any medications. In our childhood, we never took medicines for flu
Really.
or
And
colds or for sore throat. It was all better by these things only.
one
And let
thing
me
that
tell
we
you,
added is also garlic to that. So it's
yeah,
like a kind of a panacea, this thing. So it has everything. It has you know um, antiviral, antifungal, anti-flu, rejuvenator, warming from inside.
appetizer.
Antioxidant.
The
It has
so.
antioxidant quality, definitely. So what I can see is that in the northern countries, the grannies would have gone for making teas
Hmm.
and give the herbs and the medical value things in a tea, but they wouldn't have gone for spices in the food.
It
This
depends
is
on the
this is a
availability also.
continental
You know,
difference.
it depends on the availability also. Now,
Mhm.
human body is the most adaptable. You can say, whatever climate you are staying at, whatever weather, whatever season, we are more adaptable people. So what happens is now in India also we get certain vegetables, fruits, or these spices or herbs are also used according to the seasons. It's not like these spices are used almost every season. We use
Mhm.
this spices. It's not like that. Depending on the seasons, also we use some spices to some extent. It is like that. Yeah, some type of pickles are made in certain season. Pickles,
Yes.
which also we utilize many spices in making the pickles. So pickles are made in certain season. Then we have different kinds of like the panna, which is made from mangoes. That
Hmm.
is made in the summer season. So we
Summers
have
also.
seasonal foods, and these seasonal foods is the food. These foods are given to us by the nature, so that in this season, if you eat these seasonal foods, your health will be good.
So summer months, my grandmother would do a lot of pickling at home. The tender mango, the small tender mangoes in brine, or the larger mangoes, cut and sun dried with red chili and oil and mustard powder and salt, a lot of salt, and put away in the sun for the winter. So they would be making a lot of these pickles at home. Home pickling is a huge, tradition in the south for us. It's also a tradition in the north where they tend to pickle a lot of winter vegetables. So you
Yes.
will get pickled
So,
carrots in mustard. You will get pickled radishes, the long daikon radishes. You will get pickled cauliflower.
brinjals,
You get
bitter gourd, everything, almost everything.
pickled stuffed
Carrots,
red chilies. The red chilies, the long ones, stuffed with mustard and caraway seeds and
fenugreek
all
powder,
the fenugreek things, and
curds.
and sun dried and then pickled. So which you're eating with a lot of your stuffed rotis. So breakfast is generally stuffed roti, your flatbread stuffed with either cauliflower or potato or daikon radish or even feta cheese, and that's your breakfast, and along with it you have any of the pickled vegetables. So you can imagine the probiotics that
So
that they're
pickles
having.
are
And
not as people say harmful or what. When you
hmm,
eat it in excess, some people from south only, I have observed, I've seen, they eat the pickles, lots of pickles with lots of rice. They mix it with rice and eat it. So that is not good for health. But if
yes,
you would use it as a side plate or side thing, like just
quantity
to
of the
have
pickle is only
little bit.
this much,
Yes,
just this much.
this.
For like a bowl full of curd rice, this much pickle to
Yeah.
add the flavor and the probiotics. It can be a mango, tender mango pickle. It can be a small, the baby mango pickle. It can be a
Lemon
ginger pickle,
pickle, lemons pickle.
a lemon pickle. Lemons also, a lot of, my grandmother used to make three different kind of homemade lemon pickles in the winter when lemons are abundant, and grated lemon pickle, a sweet lemon pickle, a spicy lemon pickle, and you like a kind of a lemon marmalade, spicy marmalade kind of thing that you'll eat with curd rice, so with yogurt and rice. So a lot of this used to be homemade with less oil, that means, whereas the store bought ones have more oil.
Yeah.
Interesting, because when I think of pickled things, it will go down to sauerkraut.
Hmm. Which is a Mediterranean, isn't it? Because my Mediterranean friends used to get the small gherkins and the baby cucumbers, and those things used to be pickled, and you would have them at breakfast, and it would just be vinegar that they would be pickled, vinegar and brine.
Mhm.
So our pickling has a little bit of vinegar, but mostly it is red chili powder, asafoetida, turmeric, salt, and mustard oil. So it's pickled, sun dried, kept in the sun every day, and so grandmother would be sitting out in the sun at this time, getting a lot of vitamin D and making sure that the pickle bottles are turned, and probably doing some knitting. And so this was what I've grown up seeing.
Adding the sun is a luxury we don't have in the northern parts.
Yes.
But I can understand what you're doing. You're adding biophytons.
Hmm. And also, Rajeshwari, I don't know if you make the papads at home, the sago papad, the
Different
small
kinds,
ones.
different kinds. Udid,
Different.
that is udid.
Yeah.
What is it called? The woody
And
droplets.
our ajwain,
Yeah,
which is your
as
ajwain
well.
seeds, also we have forgotten.
Carom seeds. Carom seeds. Now
Carom
these
seeds.
the carom seeds are excellent ones. Whenever we have the children have diarrhea, even adults, diarrhea or they have loose motions at that time, the carom seeds along with curds or buttermilk is given to that, and the roasted in ghee, carom seeds roasted in ghee are also given along with some salt
Or
to the.
even heated in water.
It
Like,
immediately reduces that loose stools. You know, so it's an excellent one to have, and it is also anti-flatulent.
yeah.
Mhm.
For IBS also, I have given to many patients advised this carom seeds for the this thing, ajwain.
Hmm.
So it
Interesting.
reduces the symptoms,
There's
even though
also
it,
one more that we have forgotten. That is Indian borage, the thick leaves, which which you can sometime tear. Then you make chutney out of it. You can also make like a bhaji or something out of it. You remember that thick one, which is
yes,
there
yes,
in
yes.
every
I can.
house.
Small seeds, black seeds
Small,
are
it has small hair on it. It's very
there.
soft to touch. You tear it, it's also very good. It's there in all our houses. And
Okay.
you generally one from that and a little carom seeds, just boiled in water and given to the child is very good for bringing up mucus, or you know release the mucus down.
Yes,
And
mucus.
also for colics for infants, very.
Hmm. Interesting. Here we would use the borage leaves, again fresh,
Hmm.
as the more or less one and only spice added to cucumber salad.
Hmm.
All done fresh and eaten fresh, but you wouldn't know that it helps the liver to digest both, as well the borage as the cucumber. So, from your Indian perspective, if you have a client with gallbladder stones, what would you recommend in spices or herbs?
I would certainly recommend kurkuma to be taken every day, twice a day, maybe, till things are better, and improve the liver function. Kurkuma longa, which is your turmeric.
Hmm?
And I would also
Moringa
recommend
leaves are also ones. Moringa leaves are also used.
moringa
It's
leaves.
anti-diabetic as well as it is anti-diabetic as well as for gallbladder functions also it's good.
I would also recommend having like a kale or any kind of greens, little apple cider vinegar, something that you drink every day, raw foods. So, that help with the secretion of the bile, improving that. And, like maybe apples to be added to that, a kind of a drink that you make, any
Mhm.
of the fresh green drink that you can make and have, and on a daily basis till you get better. It's digestive, it improves your presence of the bile salts, it improves all of this. And
Coriander is also good for
yeah,
gallbladder. Coriander.
Mhm.
Coriander juice. It stimulates the gallbladder.
Interesting.
you,
Here we would go for fresh juice out of beetroot, carrot, and cucumber.
hmm.
We would use that on a daily basis to dissolve the stones.
Okay.
So it's quite the same excess using a fresh juice, but use different ingredients. He would go for the cucumber and the roots, and you would go for the kale, apple, moringa, and curcuma.
Or kurkuma for sure, the turmeric.
Mhm.
So, somebody who has access, for instance, can make like a green apple, red apple, pomegranate, beetroot, turmeric, fresh turmeric kind of drink that you have, but making sure that you're not throwing out the fiber that comes, but
Mhm.
putting the fiber also there and having it along with that. So that would be something, somebody who has access to, making this every day.
So
We,
more kind of a smoothie.
for
What
the
kind of
turmeric, when we are using it for gallbladder, it also acts as per the doctrine of signature. In
mm,
case of obstructive jaundice, you know, so you can use it.
mm. Just one
Interesting.
second, I'm getting a
Difference
phone
again.
call. I'm just going to put myself on mute and be back in a minute. I'm just
Yeah.
getting a call.
Yeah. So there's one difference again because we would go for the blend juice,
Bland juices.
not the fresh made juice.
Mhm.
You have to drink it within half an hour of making, and we
Mhm.
would say at least drink half a liter of it, but we wouldn't go for the fiber.
Yeah.
So this is difference too. For kidney stones, what would you recommend if you go for spices or herbs?
Mhm.
Rajeshwari, for kidney stones, what would you take?
Kidney stones, there are the spices which can be used. Like you can use the cinnamon, as said, bay leaves also. Decoction can be made. That is also good. Uh, I have used bryophyllum. It is also a balcony kitchen garden plant. Bryophyllum, if you know. The juice of the bryophyllum to dissolve the kidney stones.
Interesting, interesting. Here we would go for peach juice.
Cumin seeds. No, cumin seeds also have the effect on kidneys as a detoxicant for kidney. You know, our parents, when we were children, they used to boil the cumin seeds, hot water. Okay, that boiled cumin seeds water, they used to fill it in the bottle and they used to give us to school so that we don't suffer from colds, viral fever, and all that. Even when we had the flu, we used to drink that boiled cumin seed water.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
it acts as antiviral. It also helps for the sore throat. Also detoxes the kidneys.
Okay, a children tea we would take is fennel, cumin, and anise. Anise, I don't know.
Anise,
Anise leaves.
star anise.
Yeah, this we would give children for school, for drinking, and to ease the stomach and the digestion system and keep them flat
Rajeshwari, we
and
also
strong.
forgot star anise. Star
Star
anise is
anise.
also something that we add in our garam masala.
Yes,
Every
yes,
house
we add star
in our
anise also we add. Yeah, cardamom is also one good spice which can be used, in summer seasons, especially when the people have urinary tract infections and then the heat because of the heat, burning urine and all. The cardamom powder mixed with jaggery, they make a water like juice, that is
Pan-
given offered to the visitors who come to home during summer season, and even at home we consume that. So it reduces the heat. Also, it helps in increasing the function, kidney function. It acts as a diuretic. So cardamom is also a good
Don't
spice
they
which
have
can
a
be
little
used.
camphor also in it? The panaham you're talking about, no?
Yes, yes, Panakam, yes.
Yeah, we
But
add something,
camphor is also used because it
little
has a
camphor also in it.
cooling effect.
Cooling. Even
That
the
camphor is a
container is
different
very
camphor.
cool. Hmm.
The camphor is a different camphor, the eating one. I don't know what is the chemical difference, composition difference in that.
Which one?
The camphor which we eat and use in sweets.
Yes, I think it probably is the same, Lauraceae family only, so
But
it might
little bit difference is there. The
little,
flavor is
maybe
also different.
slight edible camphor might be a little
Edible
different.
camphor.
Yeah.
Edible camphor. It's different.
It's very interesting.
Even
So
that
you
container
would,
is very cool, when you make that panaham
Yes.
and you keep it in summer. I don't know, something happens, with the jaggery and the cardamom and this little camphor. The container is also very cool to touch. It can
Container
be
is
hot
cool, and
outside, but
after having one or two glasses, the
yes.
relaxing effect we get, that we don't get after having that fridge cold water or cool
Oh.
drinks or anything. But it has a very beautiful feeling after having one or two glasses of that sugar water, that jaggery water with cardamom.
Absolutely. And we have a big tradition also of not keeping our drinking water in the fridge. We never have refrigerated drinking
Mhm.
water
Yes,
or any kind of fizzy drinks. So it can be very, very hot outside, but it's just your normal room temperature water that we tend to drink. We don't really, have cold water directly because,
yes,
anything that reduces the temperature immediately here from here
immediate.
does
Mhm.
not good for the teeth or for generally.
It's not good for the stomach tea.
No, it's
Not
not
good.
good.
It is it's a bad habit of the northern parts. It decreases when you go to the middle of Italy and south. Greek people never would do that. They would just drink pure water,
Mm-hmm.
mostly pure water with lemon or some kind of lemon syrup they do for the winter in the winter times to put it in summer into the water. So I think that gives somehow the same feeling of drinking something cold, and it has a bit sugary thing in it and has the cooling of the lemon.
And we also have a big tradition of drinking fresh lemon juice with
Mhm.
just salt and a dash of sugar, and maybe like the kala namak, black salt,
Black
which
salt,
is a little different, and
India
just
powder,
that.
cumin powder,
Yeah,
powder.
we just have that.
Then we have the sugarcane juice also. We have
Mm.
stalls everywhere, in every corner of the street you get the sugarcane juice stalls. So that is
Fresh,
also very good. Fresh one, fresh one. They just
very
extract
good.
the sugar juice from the sugar canes and they serve it in glasses.
So you get it in such a tall glass. It's that vibrant green, greenish yellow golden juice. It's just, the harvest is in Jan. So you'll have a lot of these places making freshly crushed sugarcane juice. But now, the other day also my son was asking, and I said no because it's all open and nobody's wearing a mask, and so. But it's very nice.
Healthy.
It's also good for liver function. You get that fresh shot of uh, pure glucose. So,
Mhm.
it's
It's when you're worn out, you just have a shot.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
yes.
So, from from having a glimpse on your Indian style, I see it's very different to European style or even northern ones. It's very sad that we don't have the African and the Australians here today because I would have liked to hear what they are doing, especially how the African ones deal with spices and uh, getting that sense of coldness.
I think Africa is
Maybe,
also rich in spices. Africa, the country is rich in spices. They use
definitely.
lot, they use lot of spices. Now, when you said that luxury spices, one luxury spice we have in India, that is saffron.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that is very costly, and we use it in sweets.
It's more of
I
a
use it.
Now, it has
cosmetic
medicinal
purpose.
properties. It is used in sweets and biryani. So
But
it
now,
it has.
this year, since the last 2 years, production is very low. And with the issue happening in Kashmir also, the production and they're not able to sell. So the prices have gone up tremendously. So it's a very,
And in
very
Greece,
rare
it is
luxury.
produced. In Greece, it is produced in large amounts. No,
No, not
saffron.
really. When I want to have saffron, I'm asking my friends from Iran to send me some.
Iran.
And then you get something you can afford, and which is very good. And if I have good times, I'm doing my rice with a bit of saffron and cardamom.
Mhm. Yeah. So it has again medicinal properties. No, it has a very good action on the brain to increase the memory. Okay, boost your energy levels. So it has a good. It is also used in beauty products.
Interesting.
Saffron milk.
Give the
It
globe.
is good for skin.
In former times in Europe, rich people did put it in the cake.
Mhm.
But for the moment, I would say if you are happy, you get a bit of rice with saffron.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much covered all the herbs and spices. Is
Yeah,
there
I think we
else?
have. So
Mm.
for young mothers, we just recommend get some knowledge If you don't have a granny to teach you, get in touch with somebody else's granny and get started. But
Yeah.
definitely go to the maternal side, get as much knowledge as you can. And we have definitely differences in the continents. It is more simple when I think of here or the northern parts. It's much more abundant when I hear you talking. And there's a lot of more tradition in having spices dried and ground and boxed, and even have family boxes with different spices, which we don't have here.
Hmm.
This is something you can't find here.
Another thing is that people who are not aware of the spices, sometimes there are chances that people just use it in excess. That is not advisable again. You know, anything in
Or they
excess.
don't use it, which is not advisable too.
Yeah, yeah, correct. So not at all using it or using it in excess. Both are not good.
It's not good. No.
If we talk about coriander seeds, we also use a lot of coriander seeds and in our garam masala and especially
Yeah,
it's
what
very,
about
very
the
aromatic.
yeah, what about the brain barrier when you use too much brain blood
But
barrier? If you use too much of the curcuma, is it any problem?
no, no, not at all. In fact, those who are having liver cancer or are terminal and the liver is breaking down and a lot of this bilirubin is being released into the bloodstream and you're having a lot of what is the word the yellowness of the sclera and
Candy.
the body and curcuma really helps keep that the what do you say the lucidity for a very long time and you know so kurkuma I have seen personally, so very,
I,
very good.
I
To
was
tell
thinking of
you that
coriander.
research has shown that curcuma doesn't act the composition which is there in the turmeric. It doesn't act individually. It needs a stimulant, that is the piperin, which is present in black pepper. So you will find that whatever the curcuma products are there, they have an amount of piperin which supports the activity of curcumin. So this is what
Okay.
research has shown. Simply curcumin won't act. You'll need piperin to add to stimulate the enzymic activity of the curcumin. Then only it will have a medicinal effect. That's why in India, most of the people they use the turmeric powder along with pepper powder. Both of them they use it together so
Mhm.
that it enhances the medicinal activity. And research also has proved it.
This is a great information. Thank you for that. So everybody who wants to use turmeric for the liver, add the black pepper.
Please use organic turmeric powder, sun dried and hand pounded if possible. Support small businesses. Don't buy from big conglomerates who have nothing to lose and who can adulterate. Buy from, pay a little bit more, buy organic, hand pounded, homegrown. These are the labels that you have to look for. And native to India, organic, hand grown, hand pounded, these are the specific words you will look for, and it will be a little bit more expensive than a fresh pepper powder or fresh turmeric powder. In any case, when the turmeric dries it becomes very tough, so you might buy turmeric powder in small batches, but black pepper you can always buy the whole black pepper and just run it through your food processor. You'll get fresh black pepper powder, which you should always prepare it fresh,
Yeah.
and you can add it on top of anything. Boiled eggs you can add black pepper and salt, and it's
Mhm.
such a nice way to have it.
Okay, thank you for that. And thank you for being here today, giving me all the knowledge about Indian spices.
Simple preparations.
The talk will never end if you go on talking about the Indian spices and the herbs and all. It will never end because each part of India has a rich culture and the eating habits and all.
I think I will ask you to send me some of the spices or your homemade spices.
Oh,
Sure.
great.
I will
Sure.
send you some gunpowder
Oh, yeah, that would be very great.
Sure.
to dip your bread in.
That's great.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much and have a nice Sunday and hope to
Thank you.
meet you again soon.
You
Same to
too.
you.
Take care. Bye, Rajeshwari.
Yeah,
See you.
bye.
Bye, bye,
Bye.
Priya.
Time to
Bye.
have some chai.